Top 10 African countries with the highest Chinese debt. Every country in Africa keeps striving to change their economic and infrastructural status. To achieve this, they need investors. So, their government does short-term borrow in order to finance long-term projects. China is the present leading lender country in Africa. It has over 32 countries that she constantly lends money to in time of need through the Belt and Road Initiative, where she lends money to any country who wishes to build infrastructures. The Republic of China is located in East Asia and is recognized as the most populated nation in the world. In the past years, their quest for acquisition of wealth and power over the world got them involved into multi-billion projects in Africa that are unaccountable for a certain level, but beneficial to them to a greater extent. These activities or socio-economic ties has greatly affected most African countries today, to the point that most of them owe huge sum of money to the Chinese government, which they find difficult to repay. This video will tell you the list of 10 African countries with the most Chinese debt, the estimated amount of debt owed, how and why they ended up incurring such a huge debt. Number 1. Angola. Did you know Angola is considered as the world's richest poor country? Angola is an African country rich in natural resources like oil and diamond, but yet most of her citizens live below the poverty line. Also, the conflict that occurred in the country between the three main groups brought in economic stagnation and destruction of infrastructures. This, however, provoked the Angola government to borrow money from the Chinese government to help rebuild the lost infrastructures and revive the economy. With an estimated debt of $2.5 billion, Angola tops the list of African countries with the highest Chinese debts. Angola borrowed most of its debts to build roads, hospitals, and railways to improve on their infrastructure and the country's economy. The country's economy depends on the exportation of oil, so the Chinese used it as a means of their payment, such that they export the oil to their country as compensation for the money they had borrowed from the Chinese government. These activities keep ongoing till date. Number 2. Ethiopia. Ethiopia is found on the Horn of Africa, so it is like a gateway into Africa and the most important maritime trade routes in the world. This fact alone keeps the country vulnerable for Europeans' quest to engage into any form of business or trade with them for their personal benefits. It was for this same reason and other political reasons that China got interested in Ethiopia, and today China acts as the main lender and investor in the country and has influenced the cost of production of goods and services, which has been impacting their economic growth positively over the years. Like Angola, most of the money borrowed by the Ethiopians was for the purpose of infrastructural development. For example, the construction of Addis-Djibouti railways led to Ethiopia borrowing $2.5 billion before its completion, plus the construction of roads, schools, and hospitals. This year, Ethiopia is said to have an estimated debt of $13.5 billion, which she owes China. To mitigate this situation, the Ethiopian government allows the importation of cheap Chinese goods into the country. Number 3. Kenya. Kenya is the third on the list of African countries with the highest Chinese debt. It has an estimated debt of $7.9 billion. The China government has sponsored so many projects like the building of railways in Kenya that has mounted up today into debt which the Kenya government finds very difficult to repay. Despite the discovery of oil in Kenya, the payment of the country's debt has still not been completed. This is as a result of corruption at the level of the top government officials who misuse the funds for their private selfish gains. The debt spiraled up to the point that Kenya had to postpone the repayment of the debt. But it is said that 2021-2022, Kenya is said to have resumed payment with the sum of $761 million to the Chinese government. It is a matter of hoping that they can be able to clear the debt by the end of the year. Number 4. Republic of Congo. The Republic of Congo, also known as Congo Brazzaville, is also amongst the African African countries with the highest Chinese debt. The main drive towards this is corruption, which is so rampant, especially among the top government officials and the judicial system. We cannot deny the fact that corruption has a grievous effect on the country's economic growth. Once the effect of corruption sets in, the government always thinks of taking loans to better solve the situation. This was the case in Congo that made her end up having a huge debt of $7.9 billion from China. To ease payment of these debts, the government resorted into an agreement which permits the Chinese government to ship out their natural resources like oil. This has been going on for some years now, yet the debt is still to be completed. Number 5. North Sudan. Sudan has an estimated debt of $6.4 billion owed to the Chinese government. The numerous recurrent wars in the country contributed more to the loans they take. In the quest to build infrastructures, revive the destroyed schools, hospitals or roads in the course of the war, the government takes huge loans. This, however, was not enough to make the country's infrastructures good because the effect of the war was so disastrous. It is said that the Chinese government has put in measures to reduce some of these loans, but the debts still keep weighing the country and keeping it on stagnant. It is no doubt that China loans assistance to Sudan has helped the people, but we cannot overlook the fact that China invested more on Sudan's nascent oil industry in order to profit from the acquisition of oil reserves. Welcome to Discovery. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more videos like this. Number 6. Zambia. According to reports, Zambia's debt to the Chinese government has reduced as compared to the past years. China is said to have sponsored so many projects in the country that has led to the high debts that exist today. An example of such projects includes the construction of the 750 megawatts power project, which was funded by the Exim Banks of China, and the construction of Kafue George Lower Hydro Power Station created job opportunities for the Zambians and increased the economic status. But the whole arrangement landed Zambia an amount of $6.5 billion, which she owes the Chinese government today. As a means of repayment or compensation to the Chinese government, Zambia has privatized most of the country's firms like the National Power Utility and the ZNBC, which is the country's national broadcasting firm, to the Chinese government. Number 7. Cameroon. Cameroon wasn't spared during the ranking of the top countries with the most Chinese debt as well. It is estimated to have a debt of $5.5 billion, which she borrowed from the Chinese government to fund projects like the ongoing deep sea port construction in the southern region of the country, Kribi, the construction of Limbe Stadium in 2012, and the roads that link rural areas to urban areas like the Bonduma-Bokwai Road construction in 2017. Most of these projects increase the country's debt till date. To mitigate the situation, Cameroon government provides China with available natural resources like oil as a means of repayment of the debts. But till date, the Cameroon government still has a lot to repay the Chinese government. Number 8. Nigeria. Another African country on the list is Nigeria. To the Nigerians, it is a win-win situation as both parties keep benefiting from the alliance. The country is said to have accepted the Chinese yuan as their reserve currency. With a debt of $4.8 billion, China's firms and finances play a major role in the development of Nigeria's infrastructural development. This can be seen in the construction of roads, railway lines across the country by the Chinese government, and in return, China exports the country's oil and petroleum, seeds, fruits, plastics, and others for her own benefit. This agreement contributes to the high infrastructural development and economic growth which Nigeria is enjoying today, until she is recognized as one of the richest countries in Africa. Number 9. Ghana. Ghana has an unpaid loan of $3.5 billion to the Chinese government. Like other African countries in debt, Ghana's quest for money to increase the standard of living of her inhabitants contribute her taking a loan. For example, in order to construct Ghana railways, they signed a controversial bauxite-backed loan where China financed the construction process, and in return, as a means of repayment of the loan, China collects bauxite, which which is abundantly deposited in Ghana. However, what pricks our mind every day is when the debt will finally be cleared off. Number 10. Democratic Republic of Congo. The sparsely populated country also tops the list of 10 African countries with the highest Chinese debt. The Democratic Republic of Congo can be seen as one of the richest African countries because of the presence of precious metals in the country, but ironically, we cannot comfortably attest to that. The country's inability to utilize the natural resources and instability has provoked her to quickly exchange the natural resources for China loans to solve the problem caused by the wars. This has made her incur a debt sitting on $3.4 billion as of now. That brings us to the end of this video. If there are other African countries with higher Chinese debt we fail to mention, please share with us in the comment section.